And welcome to another episode of Who Giveth a Hoot. I'm Luke. Hooteth.
Who'd have thunk?
That's Ben, either my top right for me, possibly bottom left for you. Who knows? He's somewhere in the square. I've got Ryan the Big looking very cold today.
I'm not. Yeah, I just have bad hair because I coached with this hat on, and now I don't want to take it off for Zoom.
It wasn't because of 70-mile-an-hour winds for 90 minutes.
No, it was windy tonight, but not that windy.
Okay, and yet again, Camille has not kicked us out of the podcast and came back after editing a masterful recap of the U.S. Open Cup game against the Chicago Fire. We've got Camille Bassett.
I survived that, by the way. I'm back.
Yeah.
She's the only podcast member that's actually been paid for her work now. She was paid in tequila.
Pretty sure I bought you a beer once.
One beer, you got a whole bottle of tequila.
I'll share. I'll share.
Yes. Because I don't have enough alcohol at my house.
Ben, I think I bought you ice cream before.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think you did.
I think I bought. Didn't I buy you both ice cream when we were recording outside of Ted and Wally's?
Yeah, I feel well compensated. I'll be honest.
I declined because that's when I was still attempting to lose weight. So,
see, I offered.
Riley's not here, so we can make fun of him. But that was also when Riley lost his wallet.
Oh,
he did.
Yeah.
All right, let's break into some news. We actually have some. Kind of fun news.
I think the news broke into us this week.
Yeah, I mean, really nice that way. So first bit, let's start off with Team of the Week. We have 4 current and 1 former Owl on Team of the Week. Of our 4, we have Hugo Kamatani for his beautiful goal from outside the 18. I want to say 20 yards out, somewhere where JP owes me one, but Hugo got it.
It was about there, Ben. You're right.
Yeah. Dalton?
Second time? First time?
first, I believe.
This season, I thought he got one back in 2020.
I think he got
2020.
I thought he got one at the end of 2021.
But Dalton coming in hot on his Team of the Week by being like, I'm just going to win 100% of my duels.
That's a good percentage of duels to win.
That's what I told him.
If I am choosing a percentage of duels to make, it is going to be 100.
I told him, I said, 100's a good percentage. I mean, just letting you know. It's
really the ultimate percentage.
Yep.
As we've spoken on this pod, Luke, I'm not great at math, but I know 100% is really good.
I'm proud of you for knowing that.
Yes. I can go to bed happy now.
You're starting a master's degree and you know 100% is good.
Hey, good thing my master's degree has nothing to do with mathematics.
Yes, but your grades do.
Oh!
Grades.
Rashid, who honestly, he had a shutout, but his saves weren't that great. I guess probably wind management was the reason why he made it.
Good enough.
I was riding my bike earlier on Saturday, and I was like, as supporters, we should start measuring the wind in Rashid units. And I thought it was windy enough. So like a normal day, right, is like Rashid is like the other half can kick it into the other half of the field. Like on a very windy day, he can put it in the box. On a super windy day, he can score. Like, right, so you have like Rashid assist, Rashid goal, and then Rashid just straight out of bounds. And that was what it was on Saturday. It was a Rashid's out of bounds type Buford scale.
I will say, though, he had a couple decently good saves.
Let's save those. Yeah. But there were some decent saves there. There's one kick in particular I want to talk about Rashid's, but we'll get into that in the game. And then fourth for current Buos, we had JP Skiers, who scored a goal from 6 yards out.
JP is having himself a season so far, though.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing he did was not let Kamal Malcolm get the ball from him. That was, I know you guys are on the opposite side of the field, but that was happening right in front of me. And like, he put in a lot of work on that.
Well, JP didn't get a chance to play against the Fire on Tuesday because of his injury. Like, so he was essentially the only person who hasn't kicked a penalty this year.
I was really glad Rich included that in his recap of the game, because that was like the only clever thing I could think to say about the whole game. And he had it in there. It's like, you know, well, you go read it yourself at wgahmedia.com, but you know, something of wgahmedia.com.
wgahmedia.com.
Yeah, that one. Something to that effect of like JP feeling like he was missing out on taking a penalty this week.
He did, though.
Yeah,
he did. And boy, did he ever.
Did he?
And then Jake Kroll for former Buos probably would have made it on 2 weeks in a row if he'd stayed at Union Omaha. But good on you, Jake. You didn't have to deal with 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Hey, I'll give Jake this.
High and warm all the time where you live.
Well, I think Jake probably for a move within the league has done something that helped him more than any other player. Yeah. I mean, him playing. I know that Tucson hasn't been looking great, but he has 2 goals already and a couple team of the week. I mean, it was what he needed. It was a good opportunity for him to get playing time and get a change.
He's going to start every game at Tucson this year.
He could have done it here.
I mean, it's also his first season playing married, so that might be it.
Yeah.
Could have done that here as well.
That's true.
Boost.
Yes, but I believe the saying goes, happy wife, happy life.
I used that this week already.
Yeah.
We are recording on a Monday evening, just so
exactly. That's already is what emphasis there.
All right. So that rounds up our team of the week that we care about. The rest of it's questionable at best.
I'm glad that none of us mentioned what I'm about to mention, which is there was only 3 games to base team of the week off of. So that helped us get 4 on the team.
Wasn't there?
Remember how much love Greenville got the year after they were good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us this year.
Not really though, because our 2 draws, we only had Shido one.
Yeah, let's save whether we're good or a bad team for the end of this.
All right. So we have a date, a time, and a location for the U.S. Open Cup game versus the Northern Colorado Ice Stones.
So I have I got some like my bestest buddies from college are both soccer fans, and I told them like they're also Chicago Fire fans. They lived near each other in Chicago for a long time, and I was recapping them, filling them in on like everything that happened after the match, and then like after the draw, and they were like, "What team name is that?" And it was described as what a neural net might come up with if it was asked to select a soccer team. Yeah, okay, that's pretty true.
Don't worry. At least they didn't put it out for the public to decide, like the supporters did, and then get trolled into picking the team name of our baseball team. Whereas
still better than the team store.
Still better than the team store, but I will say it's a really weird juxtaposition of their baseball team is the Owls, their soccer supporters group is the Storm Chasers. Just saying.
It is weird.
Meant to be.
Yep. It's a good basis for what could become a rivalry. And EVD jumping ship to go get injured out there.
I did a lot of research.
He made it 56 minutes. He's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. We do have somebody on the technical staff out at Salt Lake who knows him, and I'll just say, we'll see how he's doing. Yeah, Chente's out there.
For Chente.
Joel DeLass. Anyway,
Joel DeLass, is Joel still out there?
Pretty sure last time I talked to him, he was.
I don't know. I figured you weren't like you'd be biking against him.
I tried so hard, but that's not for here. Yeah.
All right. Those tickets are on sale through the team. They're right now.
Right now, yeah.
It's all general admission. There's only 3,000 seats in the place. I believe they're all $16.
It was 19 with like all the fees and stuff. So
get yourself some friends.
Yeah, I mean, if you have friends, it'll be cheaper per ticket.
But yeah, do a group buy.
Caniglia, that's cool. We'll have played in both college stadiums, which is good.
Fun fact, we were supposed to play our first ever Open Cup game in Caniglia.
True.
Yeah, I have a ticket for that somewhere.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
I wonder if it'll still be honored.
Yeah.
An opponent to be named.
What new sponsorship deals did we learn about this week?
Well, no, I do have a question about U.S. Open Cup. Since it seemed like this was kind of arbitrary choice, couldn't play at Morrison because they have state soccer going on. Couldn't play at Werner Park because our own stadium, we're not allowed to play there because of high school baseball.
Hierarchy.
Our own stadium.
They're getting paid for that.
I feel like you probably could have sold enough to make it. But what would have been a better stadium than Caniglia to play at for the fan base, not necessarily the pitch? Like what from a fan perspective do you think would have been a better choice, or is Caniglia the best option in the Metro?
Are you saying without Morrison and Werner in play?
Yeah, without Morrison and Werner in play.
Okay.
I mean, where else do you play? I mean,
Knoll, not Knoll. What's the middle school at like 42nd and Leavenworth?
I
mean, I would have liked to see that at Omaha South.
Yeah, but their field's too small, and apparently it's like there's a reason we'll never.
No, but like from an entirely fan perspective, like I think that would have been a game changer of an opportunity when you're scrambling out there trying to bring the game to the fans.
Well, and you would have had a lot more walk-up ticket buyers if you were in South Omaha.
Also, I think it has about a 5,000 seat capacity.
Does it matter that there's football lines on there? Norris Middle School is what I was talking about, which also has football.
I'm sure Jay doesn't like the football lines.
Did you watch the game at Breeze Stevens?
I try not to.
So, no, but considering what the MLS sides that are playing, and I'm sure there's some teams playing where USFL games are going on, you see football lines on soccer pitches regularly in American.
Even if they're faded.
I love it.
I play at that field weekly, and I personally don't like the ground. It's really hard. So that's why thinking about how they're going to play. I like Caniglia. Isn't Caniglia grass as well?
No. Jay designed it. Jay pulled it's FIFA grade 2, which is
artificial.
Well, that's going to be better than the concrete turf at Omaha South.
From what I've been told by Jay, was Trev Alberts was the AD at the time, and they started doing underneath the turf one way, and Jay told him, no, that's not what we want. And Trev Alberts told them to tear it all up and redo it, because he said, if we're going to do it right, or do it once, we're going to do it right. So
I love the intimacy of Caniglia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you're like right on top of it, and like it's the natural bowl shape. I mean, it also helps that like you go like a block and a half from my house, you can start to see the lights. Like it's very close to me, so I'm in favor for that reason. But I think the other like random one that actually could have been kind of fun is Papillion Landing. If we're like talking about like I think, but okay, all that said, we're not an MLS side. So we don't need to do these charming little, let's go play in a small stadium for fun kind of thing. I was talking to a coworker who's a Minnesota United fan and moved to New England. And he's like, oh, I got to go see New England play at Harvard. And like, that was super cool in the Open Cup a few times. I'm like, yeah, that's not here. Right. Like,
no,
I think I'm with you, Luke, or we've had this conversation that like more Warner Park is the best possible venue for us.
I mean, for Open Cup, if we are looking for the largest venue in the metro, that's not, well, we can't play at Ameritrade because Ameritrade doesn't actually fit FIFA side with grass that they have. It's either there or some of your larger high school pitches, because the high school pitches in the area are by far bigger than capacity wise than Coniglia.
Yeah,
like Coniglia, they tore out the second side of stands after they pulled the football program, and really makes it the capacity, available capacity, a lot smaller, even if the playing field is much better.
I also a lot of opportunities to. Never mind. Let's just go on.
Well, okay. I think the other cool part is of the two stadiums we have, they're soccer specific. Jay has been a coach at both universities.
Wow, they were built.
Yep, started the UNO men's program. We have two former UNO players that literally were just playing at Coniglia last year.
Right? We have three former UNO players.
Well, I'm saying though, two of them literally
just yesterday.
Yeah, but we have three guys that have played there before. I mean, it's cool. Like Jay got to do that picture with those guys that played at Morrison. Now we have guys that played at Coniglia, and that was their home field. And I just think share the love a little bit. Yeah. And the coach at UNO is Bob Warming, who is, that's who Jay coached under at Creighton and worked for a while. So I mean, I think it's cool that way. I was happy with Coniglia. UNO needs the love too.
Yeah, and you guys, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the next round we have a home game on the date. So if we were to host the next round, it would be at Werner.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason the Werner Park staff says we can't have it there because there's already a scheduled event.
Right. Unless they take the opportunity to schedule an alternative event that night in the brief window of time between when we commit to hosting and the baseball team knows
I'm sorry. The high school golf tournament scheduled there.
Exhibition game. Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. We have monster trucks coming through.
All right. Moving down with news, we have a few new partnerships. The team has announced
let's
partnerships with.
Let's grade how we feel about them.
All right. The three are JetLinks, Midwest Optical, and the Arbor Day Foundation.
So what happens with each of them, Luke?
JetLinks, it's what everybody gets a entry when they scan a ticket.
Yep.
So your tickets for Union Omaha are tied to an account, so they're using that to gauge, and we'll do a random drawing to go off, wine, dine, fly to an away game with Gary, which is super cool. Midwest Optical / on a JetLinks plane, which is a private jet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sweet.
It's an A.
Kind of contrary to the Arbor Day Foundation, but
I have a hard time grading JetLinks because outside of this, I want to know what else is going on for the team. Like, I get that they're like doing this giveaway, but what is the team like? The other two of the team are benefiting by exposure, but what benefits?
Storm Chasers also have the partnership with JetLinks. I'm guessing it's a partnership deal there where they're getting money in return, and then part of that is they get to do this to try and draw in
the value of this flight's probably 10 to 30 grand. I mean, it's like a pretty significant prize as things go. I don't know what the I don't know which way the money goes necessarily, but like, it's an interesting thing, right?
Gary did promise to buy some real fancy champagne for whoever goes on it.
Well, I got my fingers crossed.
I guess that's my thing is like, yes, that's probably 30 grand, let's say, to go on this, but that's for one one lucky winner, right?
Yeah.
So how does it? I just want to know how it benefits the rest of the team, because I don't bank. I just am a pessimist by nature when it comes to putting my name in the hat of winning things. And so I assume I'm not going to win a private jet to go hang out with
Especially
Gary.
not when you're like one of 10,000 people getting drawn at the end of the season.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's not end of the season because you got to pick your game for the 2022 season. So I don't know if they're going to be doing one or two. Like how?
All right.
How
the fact that we don't know right here, I'm dropping my grade down to a B.
Okay. Midwest Optical / Gift of Sight. They're donating the cost of 10 eye restorative surgeries per save that Shido or Kevin make to people in abroad, developing countries.
Mm-hmm.
They used a non-PC term for this, that
Agreed.
as a former college major in an area that studied that heavily, you don't use third world.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't. Like, I mean, they've been pulling it off a press release or whatever, but still, that's something you got to fix, especially when you're dealing.
I assumed the nonprofit, which is the Gift of Sight, I assumed that's where they receive their language from. But either way, it's
I mean, when you're looking at where our guys are coming from,
true,
and especially considering we're about to enter, we're thoroughly in our second Cold War, and like that's a Cold War term that comes from post-colonialism.
Geopolitical language matters. I have a friend who was born in Yugoslavia who recently strenuously objected to it being referred to as an Eastern Bloc country. So,
Luke, I have another. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but separate question on that. Is it only home games or is it every game?
It appears to be every game.
Okay. Was it just starting with this one, or?
I think it started with the home game. I think they were getting some extra time to get things in.
So that'd be 30 surgeries.
So 3 saves. Is that was it his total? Okay.
Yeah.
And so that'd be
the
cost of 30 surgeries.
It's awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and say A- on this, because choosing Shido saves, as we know, is not always that's not the highest number in the league. Like,
well, it wasn't previously.
Defense,
it wasn't previously with an entirely new defense. They
may regret that one.
Yeah.
TBD. All right.
But in any event, that's great. There were some jokes made about refs benefiting from this. Won't go into that. And then third, the Arbor Day Foundation, where 1 goal equals 100 trees planted.
This is Luke's F.
Because it's trees in Nebraska, and we've gone over this again and again. I don't think you should be planting trees in a prairie state.
No. We're gonna till the virgin prairie, and we're gonna put in trees.
Put in invasive species. That's great. I think if they started putting trees in the urban core, where it lowers temperature, lowers humidity, all those, that'd be great. But instead, putting trees where native species do better on that. The fact the Arbor Day Foundation is from Nebraska is just really confusing to me. Like,
from a forestry state, that bothers you?
Johnny Appleseed, baby. Johnny Appleseed.
It's a great initiative.
Happy Arbor Day to those who celebrate.
Yeah.
We are recording on Arbor Day and dogging their Arbor Day.
Is today Arbor Day?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I told all my coworkers that today, and then I looked it up, and it's like, told me the 29th, but I guess that's just the observance date.
They half announced it on Earth Day.
Yeah.
So
and then went silent.
Yeah.
Yeah. which that's a different thing. I don't really want to get into.
Let's just keep moving.
Yeah,
let's keep moving as quickly as possible.
So, of those three, which ones? It sounds like Midwest Optical, the gift of sight. Some poor wording, but great cause.
I like the trees. I hear you about trees in Nebraska, but I like that. And so, because they capped it at 50 goals, which if we score 50 goals this year, we're doing great things.
So Shido had 32 saves last year based on USL League One's statistics. So 32, that's 320 surgeries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if Shido even touches that again, it's 25. I think they said that it's the cost equivalent of $25 per surgery. That's $8,000 they'd be donating. I mean, that's pretty significant.
Better than 5,000 trees. Yeah. Camille, what's your favorite?
I think purely, I do like the Midwest Optical because it draws attention to the defensive plays of the game, but I would prefer there not to be a lot of saves in a match because that makes me feel like the defense isn't doing a lot correctly.
Gary's wallet agrees.
I trust Rashid, I do, but I just don't want to wish for more saves, So I'm wishing for more goals. That's where I like the Arbor Day planting trees for goals. That's what I lean towards as my favorite.
I think that's the cool part about this is there is something from both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So if we have a game like we're going to talk about here in a little bit, where we score a few goals, that benefits Arbor Day. And then, even though defensively we had a shutout, she'd only had 3 saves. So it's not like he was stopping a bunch of stuff. So
At least it's not one kid per save. Because we'd be like, man, only 3 kids. That's a bummer. What a bummer.
So we have one offensive, one defensive, and one fan-related incentive. I think all win. One kills the environment, one saves people, and one tries to restore the environment. We're good. All right. And then the next thing that, unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties none of us have actually seen, but if you're a season ticket holder, the team has released we did change it to member this year. I have that one up here. Yeah, it's somewhere, but I can't read that. It's too tiny.
Yeah, on your Scott scarf.
A Scott scarf. It actually says member this year.
Nice.
Good. Well, if you're a season ticket member, you received an email stating how to download a crypto wallet with the promise of a limited edition NFT, non-fungible token, essentially modern playing cards or trading cards.
That's about as nice as you can say it. Well done.
You're just saying words right now.
A 3D model, a 3D model of the championship ring.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
I do too. I have a crypto wallet only because I tried to buy my wife a non-fungible Olive Garden for Christmas. And so I spent like an hour trying to load and fund a crypto wallet. And then the collection got delisted like 3 weeks later. And it took me 90 minutes. And by the time I was done, I didn't buy it because it didn't work. And so now I have a crypto wallet and I'm ready to put my NFT in it. I think, we chatted about it today online and, I think some folks were skeptical and I think that's fair considering, a lot of crypto things are just Ponzi schemes. But, I like this. This is, to me, like, if you want to be like, it's worthless, it's meaningless, whatever. I mean, I got a towel for walking in the gate, right? On Friday.
Yeah, but you can touch the towel.
I can touch the towel, but it is worth less in my life. Like, right. Like it has no monetary value. I can't sell it. I can maybe look at it while I wipe something off something somewhere. And so like, I like the idea. I think it's innovative. I think it's creative. I think the email looked good. The webpage looked great. It didn't work, which was a bit of a bummer. And they still haven't informed me how to make it work. But overall, A+ idea, C- execution so far.
Oh my God. You just described the last 2.5 seasons of a lot of these efforts. Like there's some of that stuff. It just feels that way. Look, my only experience knowing about NFTs are like the people on Twitter that are artists that are like, I'm selling this and it's going for 10 grand or, and you're like, what, who's buying your digital download of a piece of art for that?
I would have preferred Bored Owls, but here we are.
My experience with it is the South Park post-COVID special. But
when they're all old.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 steps from spraying kids with a hose on my yard because they're getting too close to the grass, because I feel like a really old man being like, these NFT things, they suck. I just see no intrinsic value myself. I don't know.
I think it's a tchotchke. It happens to be a digital tchotchke instead of like in-person tchotchke.
You can tell I really like digital tchotchkes.
A scarf's not a tchotchke, right? Like a scarf's like a real thing.
I have an empty mini keg up there. Okay,
yeah, fair enough. Low resolution.
It's supposed to lend itself to discounts at the team store and other discounts around. So I'll be interested to see how that goes, because if it's discounts at some of their partners, that could be neat. Get you to check out businesses you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if they do a discount. One thing, if they do a discount at the team store, I'd be interested to know what the discount percentage would be. Because
you'll have 10% off all purchases.
That may change my mind a little bit, but yeah.
I think it's I think we'll we'll see when we see it. If you can drag it and move it around in 3D space, like I'm really excited about it. If it is a picture, less excited.
You know why Camille doesn't care? Because Camille can go look at the real thing at her house.
Yeah,
she could wear it around if she wanted. She could be wearing it right now, but she doesn't want to flex on us that bad.
Yeah,
it's too heavy.
It is substantial. I tried one on the other night, and it didn't fit over a knuckle. So,
Also, the boxes they came in are pretty cool because apparently they light up.
Yeah. Dalton posted his on his IG story. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, we had a debacle today with that, actually. It lights up and there's a battery box in it. And he really wanted it to the ring to stand up, because he was like putting it in the box and it was like jingling around or whatever. And so we took a trip to Hobby Lobby today, and he's like, I want foam. I want to cover the foam in velvet so that we can put the ring in and hold it. And then I want to put the whatever it's called, metal right next to it on the foam velvet.
Yeah.
So I get my scissors out, I'm hot gluing the velvet onto the foam. I put it in and I position everything. It looks great. And then I'm looking at the box and I flip up the underneath and there's magnets to hold the ring. I'm like, you kidding? I did that for nothing. And he's like, oh, this is so cool. So then he puts the magnet with the ring and it's there. It looks great. So a couple hours of my life, again, for no reason, just doing things.
That's what she made another strawberry margarita.
Yeah, you're just building skills.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm just crafty. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Speaking of championship rings, Luke Opperman got to raise the flag.
Yes.
He did.
Pretty good.
That was really cool.
That was one of my pregame. That was one of my pregame notes, Luke, because they got a very good shot of you. Because my other pregame note was, and I'm glad they mentioned this in the broadcast, but the camera was on the opposite side, I'm assuming because they didn't want the cameraman to die in the wind.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
The quality doesn't diminish.
But they got a really good shot of you because the camera angle was different, which was nice.
Well, you actually saw more fan shots in the ESPN broadcast because the camera was on the other side.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they're like minute and a half in, there's a shot of somebody eating a hot dog. that they
what
wouldn't
everybody's there
normally
for.
gotten.
Do we have this?
Yep.
Do we have this queued up? We're gonna do live highlights, right?
I can search for it and pull it up.
No.
All right, Ryan. Well, why don't you break down the game for us?
Yeah. So the third thing I wrote down pregame was they got a decent shot, and I know I'm only bringing this up now because I know later we're going to talk about it during the game. But the infield sod looked rough. I think this was the first time outside of when it was they weren't watering the sod at the end of last season because baseball was over and all that it was completely noticeable that there was a baseball diamond right there where there should have been grass. Like it reminded me of 2019 when we would watch Lansing matches. Lansing had the same thing where you're like, oh, there is the first baseline, there is the third baseline. It's going to come up later when we talk about some other stuff in there.
You guys want me to share a picture? I got a good picture, actually.
Let's see it before Camille shares her screen to
ignore the goofy children.
Oh,
why? They're adorable.
They are adorable. But you can see over here,
yep.
like, yeah. And like, even in the outfield too, it was like very greened isn't the right word, but it like, you could like see a lot of like lines through the new turf.
I think it definitely was first game of the season. It's always a little bit rough. You get new people on the grounds crew.
Oh wait, I have the picture. I just keep going. I'll share this while you're talking.
But with this, it may also have been just more difficult to lay it down. We'd had rough weather the previous 2 days.
Sure.
Gone from, torrential downpour. Nice map, Ben.
I know. I'm sharing again.
But it really just, you can notice it. There were times where people were tripping over it, both sides. UO didn't really get a chance to practice on it either, so there was no particular advantage with this other than the fact Jay knows how the field goes. But yeah, I mean, as Ben's photo here showing, like
the warning track,
yeah.
Well, the sod, early season. It's early season sod, so it really hasn't had a chance to get it or get really well grown.
Well, and I think what kills me about it, well, two things. One, Luke, I should have factored in the weather because that's a good point. We did have a lot of storms and stuff that blew through that does make it a lot harder. But then you also look at Camille's background, right? And you can see the pitch, and the pitch looks so, I mean, it looks, even just from that picture,
look,
looks
you can
much
see in
better.
mine. You can see the infield. Mine is the game there. Yeah.
Like
so
it was
a big difference.
I think a lot of it honestly does have to do with the weather, because last season we saw every single game new sod coming in, but the adjustment was able to be made with the weather. And for this being the first game, having that cold weather suddenly come in, just automatically the grass is going to die. I mean, it has no roots at all. So that's kind of.
Yeah.
How don't you know? We had expert grass opinions from Camille now too.
We have no affiliation with them except for I bought my side from them, but she apparently really likes to go to the grass pad. Do you know their jingle, Camille?
No.
They get high on grass.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was just, I know that there was a point in the game that we're going to talk about where we saw some things happening. So I just wanted to get that part out of the way because I knew this type of conversation would happen. There's a few things we're going to try kind of what you guys did last pod, not to the same extent, but show some highlights and clips. Before we get to the first one though, I thought, and I'm kind of stealing from you guys last week, but I thought even in the first minute, knowing what happened for the rest of the match, the first minute set the tone for what we should have expected from Fuego for the rest of the match. Foul on Noe immediately. Then we get the free kick that Dalton almost puts in. got his head to it. But what did you guys think of that?
If it hadn't been so windy, that would have gone in.
Yeah.
So what was that free kick? Was that the Schenfeld foul?
No, this was literally 30 seconds into the match.
Okay,
got taken down. And then Joe took the free kick, and Dalton got it it would have been the far post.
So what I think about that is two things. I think Fuego's coming in hot. And they're excited about how successful they've been in their first season. Well, on top of that, Union Omaha's come off from a victory against an MLS team. They already have played against a quick opponent. So they're already feeling comfortable with that. They come out right off the bat. I was going to say firing, but I can't say that because we played against Fuego. But they did.
Keep them coming. Keep the puns coming.
And I think that put Fuego on their heels. And that's why we saw these fouls so much that we're going to go over. I mean, it was almost like Fuego was like, oh, crap. I mean, I feel like they just didn't expect us to come out the way we did.
The pitch is so small and they're so fast.
Well, I think too, the thing, you guys pointed out a few times last pod about how professional even our young guys were. When they got fouled, they'd walk away. Mm-hmm. And it happened on Saturday too, where our guys would get hit and fouled, and including this one with Noe. Noe just went about his business, and immediately the Fuego players are complaining to the refs, saying it's not a foul. And we'll get to it at the very end of the match. But that hurt them at the end of the match because they had started 30 seconds in complaining to the refs.
One thing that I will say, I know we're going to get into all of these highlights, but I was having a discussion with a current player, and I had mentioned that these attacking players are so beneficial to our team. And I feel like we've seen it already. And it might not necessarily mean that they're better than the players that we've had, but they're so coachable. And that's what I feel like is so great. They're coachable and they're able to bounce back like we've seen. And I think that benefits our style of play because it doesn't bring anybody down. They're just energetic, nonstop, working hard to prove themselves. And so it's nice and refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You don't have to cue this one up. I just want to point out that in the 4th minute, Noe tried to bicycle kick. And
there's always one. There's always one.
And just a little bit over, he probably would have made it.
Either his mom or his sister on Twitter retweeted the team's live tweet on that. It was like, he's going to break his back in the 4th minute. Like, come on, Noe, don't do that.
I mean, for where the ball was and his positioning, it wasn't a bad attempt.
Try it. You're at home in front of the home fans. Try it.
It's not like you're using it at midfield. It's not like you're using it to bail yourself out at all times or on a defensive clearance.
It wasn't an Elma attempt. True. It was one that.
That's what I was implying.
It was in a very good spot, and it was the only possible move for it. There was no better option on that. So at that point where either it's going to get cleared probably 2 yards up by the time the ball lands, or
you might end up on Sports Center. You never know.
Yeah. I think it went out for a goal kick anyway. But I mean, it's
blame it on the wind. Wind.
Well, I think the thing I like about that is these young guys. After that first match against Des Moines, where we kind of were like, shoot, like stop thinking, they're starting to do that. Noe's like, screw it, I'm going to try a bicycle kick. If it goes in, great. If not, I have the confidence that I tried it. And
not to get ahead of ourselves, but Hugo Kamatani, goal number 1, that it's unassisted because he recovered the ball and he took it and shot it, didn't pass it to anybody, that was very much like, okay, you've learned your lessons of the first 2 matches. You're not trying to share the ball. You're not trying to let others shine. Like you're a forward to score goals. Score them.
All right. So, good.
Just with the first half, and obviously we were shooting. We had Noe's bicycle attempt. We had Brito's crosses in. I think the wind, even though the wind was blowing in that direction, the fact that it was just going so high even a accurate shot that was taking the wind into account was never going to go in. I think it was easier as a goalkeeper to be on that end in this game than it was on the other.
Yeah, I would say going in, I was thinking the opposite, but as the match went on, I agree with you. I also don't think that I probably fully gave credit to how much the press box and everything in that corner was blocking the wind. Because even their corner from that end, I was like, I don't care if you're trying an in-swinger, that thing's blowing out as an out-swinger because of the wind. And it didn't. It was a really nicely taken free kick. Yeah. So, yeah, they definitely have that. So our first highlight, we were going to show this, low light for Fuego because suckers. But about in the 15th minute, we had we have the first yellow card of the match with Chavez. There, it looks even worse when it goes in slow-mo.
Oh, is it slow motion for you guys?
No. Yeah, but it's kind of great. It's like
you can actually see. Yeah, it was almost a frame by frame. You're right, Ben. So Chavez comes in from behind, tries to claim he won the ball, but just completely
takes a studs up challenge.
Yeah, from behind, took Rio out.
Immediately goes after the fourth official.
Oh,
yeah.
Again,
was that fourth official or linesman?
I think it was linesman.
Yeah. Okay.
But either way, again, we're 15 minutes into the match. You've had 2 fouls that were called, and your first response is to go to the ref, and that's a yellow in every level of soccer.
The other ref, right? Like he already knows the first ref saw it, and he's screaming at the other one to save him.
Well, I mean, the card was already out. It's not going to be called back, especially not in this league. That it shows they're very passionate and they're going to lay everything out there. But they brought physicality to a team that has managed it well over 3 seasons, and Jay coaches in such a way that some of our players may have tempers, but the rest of the guys really are going to handle it well. And I'll get into tempers in the second half.
Yeah.
But
there was somebody that lost his temper against us last year that almost lost it in this game for a different team.
Schenfeld, who's playing for Fuego last year, got red card in Tucson, and it was early in the game. I want to say it was like 12th, 13th minute, somewhere in there. A tough challenge at the same spot he got his red card last year. It was like the exact same spot on the pitch, and just come on, like.
And he complained the whole time. Yeah, no. I don't know. Like I said, I think any level of soccer, you go in like that, even if you get the ball, it looked ugly no matter what. And he took his ankle out. It was bad.
There we go.
All right, so the next one, 2 minutes later, we get another yellow card. Ben, I think you have this one queued up. This one reminds me, I was a basketball manager in high school, and this one reminds me of a stereotypical foul like at a 3-point line where the guy just loses control of his body. Although I think he was more controlled than I'm giving him credit for. So Emir hits the ball here because the wind took the ball, and he just comes in.
Abs looking to give him the business.
That wasn't an attempt on a ball
at all. No,
like
I was thigh on chest.
Yeah, that was like knees into midriff.
And he swung his boot around to the front too. Like the back of the heel of his boot got him too, right? But see, And I know we give Amir a hard time sometimes for rolling around, but I think I'd be rolling around too if I got hit like that.
That was a high kick if I've ever seen one, but it was also over dramatized, I believe, a little bit. But
there was
go ahead.
There was embellishment for sure.
But it's part of the game. Part of the reason Landon Donovan wasn't a better player is he didn't embellish more.
Yeah. I mean, for me though, like I think sometimes we question the refs in this league about yellow cards. I don't know that those are two. If it would have been the roles reversed, I would have been like, yeah, our guys deserved a yellow card there too.
Yeah.
Those are some legit fouls that should be called cards. And again, we're 17 minutes into this match, and that's the physicality that Fuego's showing. I think it made a big action. And obviously, as we see later in the match, it makes a big difference in this match, at some point. Mm-hmm. I think the rest of that first half, we didn't have highlights really pulled up. The team pointed out the 30th minute was really Shido's first save, which was off of I think it was off the free kick. Shido got all of it. It wasn't going anywhere. The wind helped us a lot at that end too, because I think those balls are hanging up in the air. When we talk about our goals, I think that, well, 2 of our 3 were exactly how you need to shoot when you're shooting into the wind. Even if as far out as Hugo was, you got to be shooting the way you did. And then in the 37th minute, we had almost an Olympico, but I put an asterisk in my notes because it would have been wind aided. Because that ball would have gone in because the wind blew it in. So
I wouldn't be too.
I yelled at him to do an Olympico because that's my go-to move, right? Like, because I made Dami laugh one time saying it.
Yeah, and then he told you it was an outswinger.
Yeah. Like, they try so hard to keep a straight face, but like he totally broke that time because what I said was dumb. but legit shot because of the wind.
Yeah.
I will say one thing with Antman. He was a very good sport. Very good sport. He acknowledged the heckles as he was leaving, gave a thumbs up, waved. So good sport on that. You don't always get that from a away keeper. They're back to the supporter section.
They all can't be number 29 for the Des Moines Menace.
Hey, to be fair, he was appreciative too.
I'm gonna share this Olympico attempt.
Okay, yeah.
Just watch
this
it.
The accidental Olympico attempt. My God, the wind looks so much worse on TV too.
Oh, so close.
I mean, it was. The wind just kept carrying it across, and the keeper rightfully was not happy with anybody in the box. And there goes our boy DK just trotting away.
He missed it. He missed the touch.
So
he said he wasn't even ready for the corner. He was like, it caught me off guard. If I was ready, I would have scored. I'm like, then be ready. What are you doing?
Yeah. Him bringing that kind of noise to you is the wrong idea because you're just going to say stuff like
what
that.
What are you doing?
So I guess I said it on the berm. I know I said it to Luke and a few other people, but I want to get your guys' opinion on the first half, what you thought of it, because it didn't look super cohesive, but I think the wind played the biggest factor in that feel of that. So
I go ahead.
Yep. No, go.
Okay. I felt like at the end of the half, I was like, that was the one time we had the ability to score. I was going into the game thinking if we're with the wind at the beginning, we have to score. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough game. We've seen Fuego shots. They're going to go in. They're going to be rockets. And so I was nervous. I'm like, oh my God, they didn't score. We are going to just all be sitting back. We're not even going to have a chance to score because Fuego, I don't know. They barely had any chances on us in the first half. And I was chalking that up to the wind. So going into the second half, I was a little bit nervous, honestly.
Well, and obviously we didn't see the highlights before the match, but a lot of what they were showing from their 3-3 draw that they had with Charlotte was their striker hitting like ridiculous shots. Like one of them wasn't even a bicycle. He literally just kicked it backwards over his head and went into the goal. So then you factor in the wind with that. And of course you are worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Luke?
So they were a very dangerous team before this. It's something been saying since the get-go. They showed it in their first couple matches. I was very much in the same mindset. If we don't score in this first half, when our backs to the sun, we have the wind going with us, we're not getting anything done. And obviously that was very wrong, because I think that wind was moving the ball, even going with it. It hit that back wall and started to swirl. And I think that was really, we really have to look at the dynamics of the wind at Werner Park sometime. And if we have any model builders out there, I'm sure we can find a wind tunnel and see how it goes.
Turn a fan on.
Yeah. I would be very, very curious to see how, like, in that sort of setting with winds that are, 50 to 70 miles an hour, what that looks like, and where you're seeing the issues there.
I mean, the wind was strong enough that a ball in the second half that went to the berm kept going and left the park entirely. Like, JR went to go run to retrieve the ball like we tend to do, and the security officer at the top was like, "Oh no, it's gone."
Wow.
Because it got hit high enough. I said to Gary before the match when he stopped by the Parliament tailgate, I was talking to him and admiring his championship ring.
Oh yeah, that was a nice one.
I'm not a baseball fan, but I would be a baseball fan on a day like Saturday if I'm sitting in the park and watching home runs left and right, because that's all that would have been happening. You would have got any juice on a ball, that thing was gone.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you build baseball parks the way you do, and you don't build soccer stadiums that way, because you don't want the wind to affect the game to that degree. Ideally.
I mean, since we were on a baseball field, let's talk about the goals that we scored. They were like change-ups and on goal. Like, honestly, you saw them just kind of drop a little and trick out the goalie, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing that was noticeable in the first half from rewatching it too, and I said something during the game, was Fuego really almost immediately had to change their strategy out of the back.
Yeah.
And Peter even came by the berm, and, like he normally does at some point during the game, he comes and stops by. And I was talking to him, and he said, "I like what's happening here because it's helping our press a lot." And it's true, it helped our press, but they were doing a lot of short balls to each other, keeper kicking it to, a fullback or a center back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that influenced their ability to get down the field. And I feel like our guys noticed that, because we didn't do that as much, and that we were able to then score on the other end of the field.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Ben, but let's move on to the second half. I know Camille had the timestamps as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, halftime came, and we immediately got to see a goal. So as we're getting pulled up, I know that Kamal's goal, people will say, was kind of a Greg Hurst goal. I think this one reminded me a lot more of what Greg did last year for us, of a Fuego player loses the ball, Hugo picks it up, dribbles outside the box, sees his opening, and just rips a shot. And again, confidence. I'm glad to see it. He caught the right side of the post, and it went in. And that's what we want to see. I also put on my notes, because I loved this. Hugo's played, this is his fourth match for us now. And his first thing to do when he was running down the field was to grab that crest and pull it out. That was the first thing he did. And I love that from a young guy who's, first time pro. You can just tell it meant a lot to him for that home match and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing with Hugo's goal, the graphics and everything being done for this year, much improved on last. While we're waiting for everything to get pulled up by either Ben or Camille. But
I got it finally.
Okay. But
Vanna 1 or Vanna 2.
I had a parental situation.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Let's just say that between now and the last time you saw me, I got a load of laundry in. So anyway, I'm back.
Yeah. So Luke, the graphics. We'll talk about the graphics after we watch what I just described. So there was him stealing the ball off off the guy that lost it, and he just ripped that thing.
Goal of the week.
It was my vote.
Yeah.
I'm biased, but yeah.
No, I mean that, especially when you take into account, as we've been saying this entire time, the wind from that, it's a low ball, but it has enough pace on it that it's going like it. I don't think the keeper with the wind was ever going to try as hard as that.
That was nice. That was really nice.
But, but Luke, exactly what I was saying. I mean, it was in the air more than I think, obviously than Kamal's was, but I think that's where we learned from watching what was happening on the other end of the pitch was if you keep it low enough, the wind will affect it a little bit, but not to the same degree. And I think, he caught it just right and kept it just low enough that the wind, it was like kind of like a knuckleball. You kind of saw it going like this.
I pulled up Wondergrad history for Saturday, and it was like right around that time where we were getting gusts about 60 miles an hour.
I felt them too.
Yeah. Like that was also, temperature was on a steep decline, started at about 82 at kick. And just entire weather of the game, we were going into the sun the second half, like just the only saving grace there was that we were hoping the wind was going to die down, which eventually it did a little bit, but and the windbreak there with the stands was definitely noticeable and helped us.
Well, and where his shot went was, well, where it went to is that same side in corner where their corner kick was in the first half, where what I was talking about earlier, and that's where that ball was going. So definitely the wind was dying down because of that windbreak there. We saw it in the video too, but I just love that crest grab. That's, you can tell it means a lot to him to be a pro in this city. For where he went to college too. And
he's doing it, man. He scored 2 goals in 3 league games.
No, he's playing well. I know he's playing well. I mean, those two have been, I know they're young guys, but they've been playing very, very well. And I've been impressed with them. Luke, I don't know if we're going to pull it up or not, but I know that you chronologically had something you wanted to talk about next in the 57th minute.
I want to say it was 57-15, something like that.
I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling.
Players going to catch or going to intercept a ball that lobbed upfield is running along, and Carpet Monster gets him, but right at the edge, at the edge of the turf.
Should we watch? I have it.
Yeah, if you got it.
Yeah.
Look at these fan views.
Woo!
Look at that. Look at that romance.
Ben Turner kiss cam.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
First of all, let's watch this ball. Oh.
Whoops. Little windy.
Windy. They were playing so close.
It's on our end.
Oh my gosh. Team of the week right there.
Yeah.
Team of the week.
Team of the week.
I know I plugged it in on one of our chats.
Hang on, I know it's coming up.
Yeah. I
love Sheeta trying to fake him out.
I know. Look at this dance.
Oh.
That's all right. We can let it roll a little bit too.
Yeah. 53-54. Okay, so I was 5 minutes 57. Ahead. Yep. I mean, that's great run of play right there as well.
Yeah. Did anybody while we're waiting, did anybody timestamp when Cheeto went to kick the ball and it went?
That was like 83rd minute.
That was
and it wasn't like him punting it. It was
off the turf.
He went up to clear it. And I think Gabe was.
Oh, poor guy.
But
like Cam Turner
yeah, that was.
I'm gonna say that if that had turned into a goal, I would not have felt right about it.
No,
you would have felt bad. I would have felt bad too.
Camptown Racists sing this song, do-da.
Well,
we had a great run of play that resulted from the quality of our pitch, and all right,
one more time.
We're terrible people.
Man, he gets paid to do what he loves. It's okay.
But it goes back to the conversation we had at the start before about the match. Is the pitch conditions clearly affected some of the run of play with some of that. Even in the outfield, there was a couple times there guys lost their footing just randomly. It looked like one guy went over on his ankle.
Hugo at the same seam at 76-15 with the ball had something there.
Yeah, as we're getting there, just so catch us up time-wise, 64th minute, we had our first sub, who is Jay Mims, because that's not the guy coaching right now.
You know what? Maybe the beard is coaching.
Yeah, but I'm good with that. But Gio came on for Dion. I'm only highlighting that because obviously Gio impacts the game quite a bit at the very end of the match.
Maybe Dion is just working his way into fitness because his muscles are so big. It's just a little extra work to carry him around.
I think we give Jay enough slack about his substitution patterns when we have multiple matches in a week. I think this is one of those, the last 3 games, you've seen him take that into consideration, right? Tormenta, he subbed guys knowing we had Chicago. In Chicago, he was subbing guys because of the tired legs and we went 120. I think he did the same. I know Dion played less, but I think he was at least keeping that stuff in mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Dion is one of the older players on the squad.
Yeah.
And
And then about the same timestamp, the 76th minute, we had 2 more subs. Eddie came on for Joe.
Man, I ran into Owen after the game. He gave so much extra on Eddie's announcement for that. And I was I noticed that. He's like, I've been waiting forever to do that. He was so excited.
There's one thing Owen did miss, though. He never called Ryan Jiba's name in the original lineup.
Yes,
yeah, it was rough.
I was.
We only started 10 players. Didn't you know that?
Did that. I was glad the Parliament called it out after because I just assumed I'd miss it because I wasn't paying attention or something else.
Yeah. Same substitution. We also had Claudio come on for Amir. More so Claudio's sub. I just want to know everybody's thoughts. I thought Claudio looked really great at right back. I wouldn't be sad to see him play more there, especially if it means Amir can push up to midfield and be a sub there or help out more in the midfield. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that sub.
I believe it was more so a tactic to have 3 center defenders like we've been talking about, and it looked great. I think that helped solidify a win personally. It was a solid back line.
Yeah. It was giving Ryan the opportunity to be up where I think we needed him. He's creating a lot of chaos up there. Ultimately, I think we'd handled them enough on defense with our 2 center backs doing an amazing job throwing Gabe in there, which was great. Gabe's family had flown in from Arizona, so great to see. Even though he'd played Tuesday against the Fire, but seeing him get in there for this was awesome. But having the 3 center backs, I think, is something we're going to see more and more of. With the right back situation, I think that's solved here shortly.
Okay, that's good.
I believe. I mean, obviously Eddie's in there. Eddie's a great can play right back if need be. We saw that at preseason game. Camille and I. We saw Gabe play on right back preseason game. So both of them are capable of doing that. Amir wasn't with the team yet at that point, but has been doing a very serviceable job. But there's one guy we brought in to be a right back and has not been able to feature for us yet.
Yeah.
So that hopefully, from what I've heard, should be resolved, and we should be seeing him feature. Well, hopefully see him feature a little bit more, because I'm very curious to see how he does on the pitch.
Yeah,
I think
that
too,
person being Isaac Bawa.
Yeah, I think too that this change was somewhat. I mean, I agree with the tactical part of it, because bringing Eddie on for Joe, and Joe tends to like to play wide. I think Eddie likes to play center more. So if you're pushing Ryan up because we've lost that outside presence there, and Dion's already off, so Gio obviously can play wide, but that helps with some of that coverage there too. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good sub. I thought Gabe looked really good. Every time he's got on the pitch, he's looked really good.
He looks comfortable.
Yeah,
which is all you can ask for in that defensive line. You need to be comfortable.
Looks like he's always having fun.
Especially
me,
that deep into a 1-0 game too. I mean,
yeah,
you're not coming in when it's 3-0
without looking at the data. He played right back in the game. All his touches were sort of just a little bit further removed from Emir's, which you'd expect considering he came in as a defensive substitute at the end of the game. I think it'll be interesting to see how those players rotate through all the things you guys have said. I'm excited about it. I think it's been we kept 2 clean sheets in the last 2 league games. We're making some progress defensively with Emir back there, but I think I think less than like let's get Emir out there. It's more like, well, we have this guy who played right back at the championship. Let's see what he can do for us.
I'm also glad that I was wrong, that this would be the match where I said this personally, but I'll call myself out publicly. We were talking about when's the time that Ryan Jiba pushing up too much is going to burn us. And I said against Fuego. I'm glad I was wrong, but I think it's because Ryan has been left there and he's learned to play the position over the last few matches. Again, he's comfortable, like Camille was saying, and that's, another player. They're comfortable because he's been able to play full minutes at that spot.
His growth and his stamina. I mean,
yeah.
Tuesday, he played for the full 120, right?
Has he? I'll do a little minute.
Has he missed a minute?
I don't think so.
I think he's played every match.
I mean, the fact that very few people on our team, I think Dalton being an exception, played every minute of all 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
And they have him sprinting full 120s back and forth the entire game. So, I mean, he's doing great.
Yeah.
And getting back. I mean, that's impressive. You're going up and you're getting back.
His defensive capability has grown leaps and bounds since the first professional game. And that just says a lot.
I'd say Tuesday helped him leaps and bounds with confidence of his defensive ability. That he
didn't pull him at halftime.
Well, but then, I mean, I know the first half was rough in that match in general, and you guys talked about it a little bit. But if you factor in, we played another 45 plus 30 on that match, and he improved through that whole match. That's a confidence builder, and especially considering at the end of that match, Chicago decided to throw all the guys they pay a lot of money for, to go, offensive players, and he still held his own, and he still played really well, and neither penalty was his fault. Nothing he did caused those things. So, I mean, those are all confidence boosters for a young guy.
Somehow neither penalty was his fault.
Yeah, well, we won't get back into that, but
just a quick update on this. Yeah. We have 4 guys who played 295 minutes. 3 returning players, Rashid, Dalton, and Connor, and Ryan Jiba.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Hashtag data dump. There's your data dump of the day.
Okay, I think for sake of time, let's fast forward. 86 minute, Kamal comes on for Hugo. I only bring that up because obviously we have a big thing to talk about in the 90th minute. So
ready? I can share my screen.
Yeah. So Kamal comes on, and literally 4 minutes later, after his substitution on, Noe gets the ball. We'll see it here in a minute. But Noe gets the ball and feeds Kamal really well. This is another goal that Greg would have scored last year.
Did I text you that?
Yeah, you texted me that for sure. But obviously that wasn't it. I think we missed it, Ben, because it's already 2-0. But
no good at this.
But Noe's ball was really well placed, and Kamal took it. I'm gonna be honest. From the berm end, I was 95% sure that went on the outside of the post because of how it went in. But he scored.
My wife's exact words were, "That wasn't that impressive. That barely went into the goal." I was like, "Yeah, that's a fair point, but it still went in."
Noe's through ball there was that was just a link up that looked practiced. Like he knew what Kamal's speed was, and considering Kamal hasn't been with the squad that long, that to me was the most impressive part there. Noe threads that.
Here we go.
Yep.
So there's JP's header. Noe has space.
Noe
and just
threads
sees him.
this up, and Kamal's just hanging on side there, and it just barely taps into goal. But I think
the other impressive thing when they show the replay, first of all, his dance. I don't know what's going on, but
love
it.
Get on TikTok more, I guess.
It's almost like the what Devin was trying last year too. Again, I'm an old man, Ben. I don't go on TikTok.
Yeah, me neither.
But I think the other thing that was impressive with Kamal's goal was that defender was on him. Like he had to hold off and muscle that guy too, and shoot that ball at the same time. I mean, that's a veteran goal. That's why you bring that guy in.
If you are watching this and you play back the replay that we watched, he's leaning back when he pokes that ball in, and that's difficult to, one, place into a goal, and two, score under pressure like that. You're leaning back, you're on your heels, I think he fell a little bit, or he's on the ground after
he's slid. About to fall.
Yeah. And so it's just like that one last effort that it could either just go wide or it could go in, and it went in. It was good.
That's a guy that's been playing a lot of professional soccer that knows I got to get something on this ball and at least make this goalie try.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a veteran move, and that's why you bring that guy in, because we had a lot of young guys up there.
Yeah. I may have texted Ryan, Kamal Malcolm. That's it, just immediately after it.
It was Kamal, period, and then Malcolm in all caps.
But that was mostly because I was just too excited to clean up my punctuation.
One of my friends texted me right after that. Malcolm in the middle of their defense.
Beautiful. Frankie Muniz appreciates that.
Yeah. You ready for the next thing?
Yeah, so let's go to it was the 90th minute, but it was +2, so 90 +2.
Got it all queued up.
Yeah, so Gio, this is another great, why we highlighted Gio getting subbed in. Gio steals the ball. I see nothing, but Ben has started. There you go. Gio steals the ball.
This freeze right after I start sharing.
Oh, if you can go back.
Gio has a nice breakaway.
Yeah. Here we go. So the ball's going.
Mm-hmm.
Same spot.
Same spot. 17 had made an attempt. Gio gets the ball from him. This cutback was great. And then
it's the right dive. It is the right dive.
It is, but also for Chavez, you're on a yellow already. It's the 92nd minute. You're down 2-0. Why are you grabbing a guy's shirt and pulling him back in? Even if it's not a tug, it's just grabbing out. What are you doing?
No, you could tell Gio just the second he felt that shirt grabbed, he knows it's not enough that if there were a touch on him, but he felt the shirt grabbed and he just hits ground.
That's the best penalty we won since New York Red Bulls 2 captain John Murphy Jr. went down in North Texas last year. It was just a textbook. If you feel it, you got to go down.
So go back about 10 or 10, 20 seconds there too, Ben. Sorry, Camille, go ahead.
And there were, to be fair, there were hands all over Gio already. Yeah. And so he had to at least call a foul. And then that Chavez came in and had an extra tug, and it's there's already people there. It's not necessary. So I kind of agree with it, honestly.
Well, I guess my thing is apparently Chavez wanted 90 minutes off next weekend because That's a stupid second yellow. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you go to the locker room, I hope that their head coach went to the locker room and read him the riot act of, what are you doing? You're our captain.
He had a vacation planned and he didn't want to miss it.
I mean, he's the captain.
Wedding to go to.
Oh, is he going to Hunter's wedding too? Good. I'll buy him a beer for that penalty he gave up.
Well, and you're down 2-0 with 90 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Why
like,
do you
I get
do
it,
that?
but like,
so let this play. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the match when we started talking about this. 22 here complaining to the ref. Ref had enough of hearing it all game. He earns himself a yellow card just because he's talking. I mean, literally, this ref's just like
that angry.
No, the ref was over it. He was over it because that's all their guys did the whole match. I mean, I think that I know we complain about USL 1 reffing quite a bit. I think that he handled this match really well, especially as much as good.
I think some of the yellows in the first half were a little premature. I think they would have been coming anyway, but I'm not sure that some of those yellows should have been given. Yeah.
It's just so bad made a meal of it, but
he's being fouled pretty consistently outside.
I also feel like maybe the ref felt threatened that it would already be a physical game based on how Fuego was playing. So I think he was giving those yellow cards kind of like a back off.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I had mentioned at the beginning, Fuego came out on their heels, not prepared for Union Omaha to come in on fire, and then they were angry and upset and physical for it. So
and I think too, like, if you're a ref, if you let that first foul in the 15th minute go without a card, you're asking for guys to continue to do that through the match. So yes, and the one, if you don't give that one in the 7th or 15th minute, you have to give the one in the 17th minute when the guy leaves his feet with his boot in the air. Yeah. Like, people get banned for jumping over, doing kung fu kicks to fans when they play for Manchester United. So he's lucky he gets got a yellow card there. So that led to the penalty, which, as we talked about, JP felt like he was left out in the U.S. Open Cup match.
Luckily so.
And decided he needed to be the one to take it. Well taken penalty. I don't know. Let's let the video do the talking for us. But I think this is a really well taken penalty. What you expect.
Yeah.
Got the keeper going the wrong way. Slotted it home.
Put enough power on it without too much spin, so it went where he was planning.
There's the rally tells.
They're like the NFTs of the stadium.
They are fungible tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
Unfungible.
They're the VFTs. The only other thing I wrote down, like most matches, they do fan voting. Hugo got the most votes for man of the match. So they named him man of the match. The one thing that stood out to me from that more than anything was, despite our passing being sub 60% again, Hugo's was 100%. So good on him for a forward to also have 100% passing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Usually the worst.
The right passes in the right areas last or 2 nights ago. I have no idea what day it is.
That's fine.
But, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think,
go ahead.
Well, Hugo's consistent pressure there, I think it could have really been given to anybody, but with that goal, I mean, our player of the match is almost always going to go to a goal scorer. No matter how many times Dalton saves the day or Rashid makes a huge save, it's going to go to a goal
only getting
scorer.
it if it's a 0-0 draw.
Well, yeah, I think the hard part with like what Dalton did, like, we don't know until the stats like we all were saying, even on the Bird, like, man, our center backs are having a great match. You know, I thought both Touche and Dalton looked really good, but I could not have told you that he won 100% of his duels unless that stat comes out. And that's the hard part about defenders ever being man of the match. But you don't become a defender to do those things. You become a defender to do the dirty work. And those guys played their asses off. I was really impressed with both center backs for the whole match, considering that ball was swirling around quite a bit on them.
Yeah, that was the hardest part about it. I felt like you never know how your defense is going to play with unpredictable wind like that, so that's all you can ask for.
Anything else on the match, or do we want to quickly preview Charlotte?
I got one last data dump thing. We have 5 goals and only 2 assists. We have 3 unassisted goals in league play this season.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the final announced attendance was 3,375, which is apparently above last year's average. So
good. Yeah.
Not bad for a super windy day.
Not bad at all. I was worried about it when we were out in the parking lot drinking some beers and eating some yummy food. All right, so Charlotte, we're going to Charlotte on April 30th. I'm hoping that a couple of us in this chat will get a chance to actually watch it, because I know for sure 2 people in this chat are going to have a hard time getting it, or I might have to pay Hunter money to watch it. I don't know. I will say, Luke, that was my suggestion to Hunter and Liv, was don't do a dollar dance. Just make people pay to watch the Union Omaha match.
Yeah, I had a...
Let's just say it will be watched, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of phones. There's going to be a lot of Union Omaha supporters.
We'll know how they feel about it depending on who's sitting with who. If we're all with random people we don't know,
it's open seating. It's open seating, so we get to choose. So I've already had a plan with Tyler.
Unfortunately, no, I don't. But
no, Luke actually probably has assigned seating because he is in the wedding party. But this is more pub than I think Hunter ever expected for his wedding.
Yeah, it's a lot of details.
So Charlotte, they've kind of had. I mean, we expected them to have an up and down year. League play wise, I'm updating my own notes because they played today. They drew Fuego 3-3. They beat Northern Colorado 2-1, and then they lost 2-1 to Richmond tonight of this recording. As we said, we're recording on Monday. They also lost their only U.S. Open Cup match in the second round to the Carolina Dynamo. So
a lower division side.
Yeah, lower division side. So,
but was that before they got Miguel Ibarra?
Yeah, it was like April. I don't know. It was really early. It was like April 2nd or something like that. So,
yeah. They now have a partnership with whatever the Panthers' other occupant of their stadium is that beat Greenville.
CLT.
Yeah.
Worst abbreviation.
They have a lot of very dangerous pieces, but it's not
moving.
Not, in my opinion, a team that has the consistency to show up week after week. It's the same thing I've been saying with Hailstorm. You can get a lot of individual pieces that shine, but if they're not working together, they're not going to do what needs to be done, which is what happened with Union Omaha finally. Is we have all these pieces with a lot of raw talent. They beat Chicago Fire in PKs, and they can come out an entirely new team that is working together in an entirely different way. Like
shot him to the moon, right? I mean,
yeah.
Well, go ahead, Ben.
From the data side, just looking at the league table on American Soccer Analysis, they are underperforming pretty significantly so far this season. They're like their expected points. They should have 1.3 more points than they have had, and their goal difference. Their expected goal difference is like 1.6 goals higher than their actual goal difference, which means they're bad defensively. They're giving up goals they should not have been giving.
And I think we all, in our preview pod, I think this was one of our consensus. Like, we were all like, yeah, this is going to be one of the worst teams. I don't know. I mean, I think this 11 that started with a week's rest and not having to play 2 more matches in between and really getting 2 more days of rest, because of them playing on a Monday night. I'm glad that it's that if it's a match I miss, it's something like this where I'm not as worried about what may happen.
I think the other thing, just one other note, they've given up 6 goals on 31 shots, and Tormenta, who, just quick aside, might actually be good, has given up 1 goal on 31 shots.
But what I am worried about is, I had mentioned this in the last pod, I feel like this team is driven by a challenge. And so I'm hoping that they don't go into it thinking it is an easy game. Although data shows that, I'm like, I hope they go into it, a new team, let's prove ourselves.
Yeah, and coming off of an emotional high. I mean, Jay Mims himself said this is the greatest week in club history.
He said one of the best weeks, yeah.
Fair enough.
I think by the end he actually said,
he overhyped it. I disagree with him, but if that's how everybody's feeling at the moment, which is okay, then like, holy cow, a trip to Charlotte. Ugh.
I know.
Well, I think too, we saw even a championship winning side last year have letdowns at moments where they maybe mentally let themselves think, that Madison reschedule comes to mind of, okay, Madison's not playing super well. You could see the gas got taken off, the foot came off the gas pedal a little bit, and we had a snoozer of a match that did not end our way. But it was also the kick in the ass they needed.
Flying.
No riding. They're the Jacks. They ride horses.
All right.
Right? Like it's a plane joke because they pretended to be airplanes, and now
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
person no longer works for their club. Well, what do we think our starting 11 is going to be? Because
I think it's what we saw Saturday.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Kamal start.
I think it's about time. Yeah. Although who does he start? Do you bench Noe? Do you bench Hugo?
Of the two of them to put in Kamal, I bench Hugo. I feel like
in the league.
It's a very J Mims move to do it. But Noe seems like he's going to be setting up more for everybody else out there while also being dangerous himself. So especially with that, what he's shown, he's had 3 assists so far in all competitions. So he had the one Saturday, one in Madison.
Now, American Soccer Analysis only says we have 2 league assists. He has 1, and Connor has 1.
Well, I thought he had 1 up in Madison. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a little research while you're working.
Yeah. Midfield, I think we're pretty well locked in there unless Giovanni comes in. Giovanni did pretty well against the Fire.
This 11 that we saw Saturday was the Des Moines Menace 11.
Yep.
Was it also the Madison 11?
No, I think we had somebody rotated in Madison.
Yeah. Hey, the league gives Noe credit for 2 assists. He's joint leader in the league right now.
Okay.
Sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes American Soccer Analysis and the league stats don't join up, even though I think they come from the same database. So I don't know what to tell you. Other than
we're 3rd division American soccer.
So the only change that we had for the Tormenta match was Gio started for Dion. So the other 10, I mean, except for Chicago,
we are a different team without Dion on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dion's got to play.
Yeah.
I just, knowing Jay on the other side, I know that it's a Jay-like thing to all of a sudden bench your top scorer, but I also think it's a Jay thing to not
joint
mess with
top scorer.
Joint top scorer. But it's also it's a Jay thing to not mess with what's been successful. And if he likes 10 out of these 11 guys for the majority of the matches, I mean, Chicago was our most heavily rotated lineup. And even then, at halftime, he got Bruce off of there. and really, I mean, Touche came on because of an injury. Really,
and Shivani came off it.
And Shivani, but that was our most heavily rotated lineup because it had to be, because you're playing 3 matches in 7 days. But 10 out of these 11 guys have at least started 3 of our 4 matches we've had so far, competitive matches. I have a hard time believing Jay goes away from that formula until it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he seems to like the Gio-Dion rotation. So maybe Gio starts instead of Dion, but you're going to see Dion in the match. I guarantee that.
Yeah, so we're seeing Alex Bruce, Eddie Gordon, and Shivani Willis, right?
Of those 3 you listed, Eddie can definitely come on the field.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alex Bruce's first 45 at Chicago, I think, may have hurt him more than who he went to.
No, he was solid there, but I think we're gonna see some rotation. I'm not sure where, but after a week of that, Ryan can't because we don't have another left back.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see maybe Joe getting rested a bit. Pulling somebody off and just kind of working in some rotation, trying to get some fresh faces in, see how it goes.
It's still
I'll concede that if Isaac is eligible to play, then I could see them starting Isaac down there, considering who the opponent is and getting him game time. Then I also want to update that. I think you said you thought you saw some rotation in Madison, but the starting 11 in Madison was the exact same as the Des Moines match.
So three of our Noe Mezzo score an assist in Madison, which did happen.
So 3 of our matches, competitive matches so far, we started the same 11, and the 4th one we only rotated 1 guy.
I believe we will see very similar lineup, but I stay silent because I literally never know with Jay. I mean, you have no clue.
We could talk for another hour and not be right.
You have no clue.
Yeah.
They could throw Ricky in left back, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure.
We need to vet someone else at that position. This is a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it makes sense, right? I don't know.
Please don't do that to me.
I've been wondering who else is deputizing back.
I did not realize Zendejas was their goalkeeper.
Who?
Adrian Zendejas.
Oh, really?
Former SKC backup goalkeeper.
Huh. I'd consider that a demotion.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not great at score predictions because every time I do, we end up, scoring 8 more goals than I said. But I do think that this is one that we're gonna another road match, as Jay said. Also, side note, Jay said we're not at home again until like May 25th, and I was like, did you forget about the Open Cup, Jay, or you just don't consider that a home match? But I think we walk out of Charlotte with a win. I think this team's flying high. The confidence is there.
Yeah. Well, it definitely somewhere we want to be. Buy your U.S. Open Cup tickets. Buy some for friends. Make sure your friends show up because we don't want an empty seat there.
Text all those people that like soccer but haven't come to a game and be like, yo, it's 7:00 on a Wednesday. What else are you doing? Just come.
And it's on the Orbit line.
Yeah, just come. It's not going to be hard. Go park at my house. Walk over. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm missing church for this, people. You guys can be there too.
Yeah.
You're going to a different kind of church. But all right. One last question. Just one. Who gives a hoot?
We do.
Not too bad.